Yo, 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 what it do? What it be, y'all? It's your boy, Agent A&T, coming to y'all with a little Call of Duty commentary, talking about some histories, mysteries, and conspiracies. And this is going to be a follow-up to my first Pyramids of Giza video. So, in the first video, we mostly covered the Sphinx and how it fits in with the pyramids that surround it, and I briefly mentioned the rulers, kings, pharaohs, and whatever else they were called at the time that were responsible for building the pyramids. But before I dive deeper into that, let me get into the first pyramid and kind of set the stage, because I'm going to try my best to keep this as chronological as possible, but I'm literally trying to cover like thousands of years of history, theories, and ideologies, so bear with me. It might turn into a four-parter, but we'll see. So, the first pyramid that was ever built was by King Djoser, and of course he himself didn't build it, but it was a monument that not only changed how Egyptian royals were buried, it brought unprecedented evolutions to human architecture. And of course, the first pyramid wasn't as big or as glamorous as the other pyramids that would come after it, but it set the precedent and the standard. And even though the original blueprints are lost to history, the visionary behind the first pyramid isn't, or the visionaries, I should say. The first person who actually designed and planned the construction of the first pyramid is Imhotep, and he did it under the rulership of King Djoser, and Imhotep was his royal vizier and one of his most trusted advisors. And according to writings that survived that era, Imhotep drew up the blueprints and oversaw the construction of the first pyramid. However, the blueprints and details of constructing the pyramid have been lost to history, and that also goes for every other pyramid that I'll be talking about in this video, and even more, because every single pyramid was different. Everyone was built different, had a different floor plan, was a different size and all that. It's not like they were just, was just like one of those fold-out houses or something like that, or, they had the pre-cut, layouts. Nah, like, the fact that they built so many and none of the blueprints have ever really been recovered, or even the construction plans, or, how the process to build them have ever even been looked at, or even, no one's even caught an inkling of them, not even a piece. So, after all that, nothing crazy. But King Djoser and Imhotep are without a doubt the first time we see a pyramid-like structure built in human history, and we know this because Djoser's pyramid is vastly different compared to mastabas and temples that were built during that time. So we know who came up with the concept and built the first pyramid, but why did they build it? Well, some may have served a different purpose, but most pyramids were used as fancy mausoleums, pretty much, for kings, pharaohs, queens, and even high-ranking royal servants. They were buried in pyramids with their respective rulers, and according to inscriptions in almost every pyramid, the Egyptians believed that the mummification process and surrounding the king and queen with their favorite possessions and favorite people post-mortem would help them cross over to the afterlife. And that's what the evidence tells us, but my only questions kind of are, why did they stop? And why did other civilizations thousands of years later start building pyramids? It could have been that they started running out of resources to build these massive monuments, but with how big the Egyptian empire was at certain points, it makes it kind of hard for me to believe that they were running out of resources, because they could have borrowed from other countries that were under Egyptian rule. But Um, that's something I'll probably discuss more in the next video, but I gotta do more research as to why they stopped building. So I don't want to give like a definitive answer on that. It's just one of my theories as to why they stopped. So we know that who built the pyramids and who, which pyramids based on the inscriptions belong to which kings. And king lists have survived, hundreds of thousands of years. Yet, as I previously mentioned, we don't know exactly when each ruler ruled. We don't know how accurate the king lists are, even because, some people there may have been struggles for thrones at certain points, and some may have been like, okay, well, this is the real king. No, this is the real king, type shit. But a lot of the beginning of the first dynasty and a lot of the chronological order of the early dynasties are heavily disputed, but they have a pretty good idea, as to who around that time was ruler, but it leads to some problems regarding, who built what and when. But another thing we can't figure out is, which might help decipher the mysteries of even human history in general, is we don't know how much of the Bible fits in chronologically with Egyptian history. Like, there's evidence Jesus was a real person. There's evidence of biblical places like the Sea of Galilee, Sodom and Gomorrah, and all that. Yet we don't know exactly the story when exactly the story of Moses takes place, because we don't know which Pharaoh adopted him, and we don't know which Pharaoh was in power when he supposedly parted the Red Sea. We know Joseph was most likely real, yet we don't know which Pharaoh he was reading dreams for. We all know that the story of David and Goliath, we know that the reigns of King Saul, King David, and King Solomon are all in like chronological order, but the exact date of these reigns are heavily disputed. They might as well be unknown. There's no mention of the Sphinx or pyramids in the Bible at all, even though based on the research I've done and the timeline of it, the pyramids and the Sphinx would have already been there. They would have been built like centuries before the Bible was even written. So the fact that they don't mention this at all, and there's pharaohs and they had already stopped building pyramids by biblical times. They were burying pharaohs in the Valley of Kings and shit by this time. Like King Tutankhamun was more closer to biblical times than King Khufu and all them. So yeah, we don't know exactly when or like how the pyramids were built, and we don't exactly know. One of the biggest pieces that we have explaining human history in the Bible is very vague when it comes to actual dates and specific important people, and not like biblical conduits for storytelling. Leaving out a pharaoh's name just seems kind of odd, and it's multiple pharaohs too. He's just named Pharaoh, which is like, y'all didn't think we were gonna figure out that there was more than one pharaoh in the Bible, or which pharaoh is it? Just very confusing that piece or those pieces of history would be omitted, hidden, or even just lost, I guess. I don't know. If you know all this, like if Moses was talking to a pharaoh, which one would it be? Some speculate it's King Ramses, but we literally couldn't. It's unknown. It's just one of those things we'd have to speculate until further notice. But we don't know exactly how the pyramids were built. And there are several videos on YouTube explaining how the Egyptians could have done it with the tools and materials that were available at this time. So I'm not, there are science videos and people explaining, how the pyramids, the process of how they could have been built using the tools and manpower that they had at the time. But those aren't for sure. You can explain it and kind of theorize how they did it without using, technology or the wheel or even, anything like that. But the fact is, you don't know for sure. We really don't. There's nothing set in stone. There's no writings that say, oh, here's how the fuck we did this. No, there's not. There's not a scroll saying, hey, we rolled these giant boulders using giant rollers, or, we use wet sleds. There's nothing. Those are just theories. Granted, those are good theories, but, I mean, they kind of hold water, but not really. What we have figured out for sure, though, is that Egyptians didn't use slave labor to build the pyramids, as was, the popular theory. But we've actually found evidence of settlements around the pyramids that would have been able to house thousands of skilled workers. And they would separate the workers into smaller teams and groups, and each team would have a specific job. And there's evidence of limestone quarries that were excavated and used for building the pyramids. And the YouTube videos and even scientists theorize, like I said, that the Egyptians used sleds and ramp systems to gather and move and place the massive pieces of limestone after they were cut into cubes. Yet the only tools that survived are the pickaxes and some stone ramps that show somewhat how the Egyptians may have gathered some of the material for a pyramid or two. And for how many pyramids there are in the Valley of Kings and Queens, there really isn't a definitive explanation for how every single pyramid was built. And, no blueprints have ever been found, and using sleds and water to use massive pieces of limestone may seem viable to explain how some pyramids were built, but the amount of limestone used to build every pyramid would have taken more limestone than would have been available in just Egypt. And there is evidence that some limestone may have been imported from parts of the ever-changing Egyptian empire through the ages, And I apologize if I keep saying the Valley of Kings and Queens, because it's not really, what it's called. I don't know. The Valley of Kings and Queens is really it's where King Tut and the later Egyptian pyramid, or the later Egyptians were built. They were built in tombs, kind of under and in mountains, kind of. Whereas, the pyramids were kind of more spread out, and, I think there's maybe close to 200 pyramids in Egypt, and they're all kind of spread out. And it's not really a valley. So I apologize if I keep saying the Valley of Kings and Queens, but it's not really like that. It's not really like the Valley. Valley of Kings and Queens is totally separate. So sorry for the miscommunication. That's my fuck up. But instead of, looking at every single pyramid in Giza and analyzing how it was built, let's just look at the most popular ones, like the Great Pyramid, the Pyramid of Khafre, and the Pyramid of Menkaure. And before I get into that, though, let me just put into perspective the time gaps we're dealing with. So the timeline of ancient Egypt and its rulers are broken up into 11 different time periods, starting in the pre-dynastic period and ending in the Hellenistic period, which covers roughly 3,250 years of history. And starting in the 3rd dynasty, King Djoser, and ending with Pepi II in the 6th dynasty, Egyptians built pyramids to bury their dead leaders and important people in their regime, which is about 400 years of pyramid building, and none of them are the same size. None of them are even vastly, none of them you could be like, oh, this is a spitting image of it. No, they're all completely different. And Djoser's pyramid is more of a step pyramid, while 4th dynasty pyramids are more of a true pyramid, pointing to obvious signs that pyramid building had evolved through the ages, So pyramid building started in the 3rd dynasty, but the 4th dynasty rulers and architects took it to a whole nother level. And starting with Sneferu, who built 3 pyramids, not because he was that dope, but because despite popular belief, the pyramids made, despite the popular belief that the Egyptians made these structures perfectly every single time, his builders fucked up the first 2 pyramids, known today as the Bent Pyramid and the Meidum Pyramid? I don't know. But they built the Red Pyramid after those 2, and he saw the Red Pyramid was fit enough to be buried in. So then there was Khufu, who of course built the Great Pyramid, and it's been one of the 7 wonders of the world, along with the Great Wall. And so that kind of speaks for itself, man-made structures, wonders of the world type shit, to be put in a sentence with the Great Wall, who a lot of people thought you could see it from space from the longest time, but that's something. And then there was Jedfrey, who was a key figure in the architecture of the Great Pyramid, and his pyramid has been believed to have been destroyed and used for materials against the Romans. And next was Khafre, who built the second pyramid, and it's right next to Khufu's. He's also credited with building the Sphinx, but as we discussed in the last video, there's evidence that disputes that. The main one being the Great Pyramid's original walkway curves to avoid where the Sphinx would be. And with their reigns being 50 years apart, it's a mystery exactly when or who built the Sphinx indefinitely. So last is Menkaure, who has the smallest of the 3 main pyramids of Giza in the complex, and that was the last of the pyramids that survived from that era. And the trend of pyramid building wouldn't become popular for another 1,000 years until the Nubians were influenced by the Egyptians and built the Nubian pyramids around the same times Egyptians had. They had long abandoned pyramid building and started burying rulers and high-ranking officials in the Valley of the Kings. And they started burying people in the Valley of the Kings for the next 500 years. So we know who built them, and why, and when. And as far as we know, though, there's no real definitive way or process that was recorded or has even been discovered. Like I said, there's plausible theories and methods on how they could have gotten these massive monuments built, but we don't have any proof of these ancient sleds or rollers that would have been used. None survived. Ain't that a little, just kind of too good, You have a theory, but, you don't have any evidence of the theory, of the plausible theory at least. But, and I used to be a big ancient astronaut theorist, aliens definitely built the pyramids or had a hand or something. And maybe they still did, but maybe in a different way. There's a 6 feet tall fucking pharaoh or whatever that they found, and it's just so what is this 6-foot pharaoh doing around here with all these 5 feet Egyptians? What's his story? Where's his lineage come from? It's very rare that someone was over 6 feet back in those days. So I mean, who knows? But in my opinion, I still think there's shit in human history that we just can't explain, or stuff like that. But I mean, if we could build the Great Wall of China without any help from extraterrestrials, and we could build the pyramids, were we probably influenced by ETs or something? We still don't know where we got the idea from, but I mean, still, kind of weird that just out of nowhere they were just yeah, let's just start building these pyramids, these big triangles. Granted, it's an easier structure to build than a lot of towers or whatever, but why? They 500 years later they just said, oh, we'll just start burying them in the mountains. I don't know. There is a theory that out there that kind of suggests that the 3 pyramids align with Orion's belt, and the Sphinx is supposed to represent the Leo constellation. However, astrologists and scientists have poked multiple holes in this theory. including the fact that the pyramids don't exactly match up with Orion's belt. So there is another theory suggesting that the Great Pyramids may have been used for something other than burying the king or pharaoh. Theories suggest that the pyramid complex was an ancient landing strip for ETs that had flying machines before flight for humans was even thought possible, or they were ancient power sources or of some sort, and they used the fact that Djoser's, Khufu, and Khafre, and Snefru's, and many other pyramids have been found with no mummy. Which begs the question, how did some of the most important artifacts in Egyptian manage to disappear? The mummies. And through thousands of years, and even during the time the Valley of Kings, the Valley of Kings was a more secure area to bury rulers of Egypt than, and the Romans dismantled some pyramids and used them for building projects, and one ruler even tried to have the whole complex destroyed at one point. So it's not hard to imagine that over 2,000 years someone came in and took the mummy. I mean, with all the war and history that's been lost and destroyed in that area, we're lucky that as many pyramids, tombs, and artifacts have survived, And, there's over 100 surviving pyramids, and I only talked about a handful. So that just shows how pyramids were a central part in Egypt for some time. And we're really no closer to discovering why they used pyramids or how exactly they were built. And those are just mysteries of history we'll probably never know until we see, a scroll or something in the sand, or, a pyramid chamber that was undiscovered that has like writings on it and that details stuff like this. But until then, we just have to speculate and theorize. And either, you believe aliens had a hand in some of this, which I believe at some point, during that time, these people were talking to gods and, shit like that. So something happened during this time to influence these people. But, I mean, to the extent or, how much, who knows? We'll never know. Did they actually come down and start, making babies with some of these people, because the Nephilim are recorded in the Bible, and there are records of giants, So it's just a lot of history, ideologies, just stuff like that just we'll never understand because of how much history has been lost, So, but the next video I'll discuss, pyramids and other cultures like the ones I mentioned in Sudan, and I'll talk about the Latin pyramids and Chinese pyramids as well. So sub and ring the damn bell. Stay tuned, because I got hot content dropping soon. If you like this video, leave a like, or shit, leave a dislike even. If you want to comment, I'm always down to discuss different theories. But it's been your boy Agent A and T, repping the spell Black Agent C. Don't get smoked. And before I peace out, let me just go ahead. I got a couple more minutes left. I was going off this round. See, I got the UAV. Boom. Call that in. See, he got the front and I got his back. And then we riding with strap. Boom. Got the little artillery fire. Bro holding down this. I got 2 and 3 homies coming through. Lock this whole little thing down. Then we got, I was like, alright, they spawning back here thanks to the UAV. Go ahead and bust this left. Motherfuckers threw a nade. I was like, not today, Junior. So like, that motherfucker down there, he'll get taken out. I seen that motherfucker right there. I was like, let me go ahead, bust that left. Go ahead, swing around, see what I could catch. Oh, caught 1 op lacking, caught 2 ops lacking. Gang. And then right here, fuck up, boom. Should have hit or tried to kept trying to catch more bodies or something. Tried to call in the veto, which I did, but it's like, alright, let me get back to it. Let me get back to my spot. Come through here. Oh yeah, there's one. Come on, bro, clap him. Oh nope, I got him. There's two. Oh, missed one. Oh, that's just sad. I almost got him. Go ahead. Well, if you're gonna slide, and you know what I did, I slide. Boom. Clap one. Clap two. Quad feed. Oh my god. Cop do you have? I was finna try and call that in, but nope. I see him. You can die. Call that in real quick. I see them trying to flank from the right. Let me go ahead and reload up shop real quick. At this point, they started spawning on the other side, so I'm like, alright, let me try and creep on the other side now. Take a right. Boom, clap one. Like, alright. I was low-key feeling myself. Alright. Pop out with the MP5. See, in here, I was like, damn, do I go back left? Because Shorty over here holding down this little field. But that's that's Murder Park right there. Murder Row. Something like that. I don't know. Caught you on top of the car. Stupid. Calling my second VTOL of the game. I was really feeling myself this game, on God. I was like, oh. Almost got blown up by a nade. Some motherfuckers are really cold with the nades in this game, no cap. Right here, bow, get throwing knife, surgical summer, but it's fall.
Oh my god.
Caught this dude who just doing the running man again, slow mo. Then I got my two homies coming, playing back up and all that. Accidentally called in my VTOL on this location while I'm trying to reload. Clapped you with the assist. I don't know how I seen this dude to the left. Let me get you out the way. And I don't think I got another kill for the rest of the game, but I was putting in work. But yeah, don't get smoked out there, y'all. I'm out. Peace.
I went the fuck off that game. Oh my god, that was lit. Oh, we was both going.